So we have a packed agenda as always. So just want to mention a couple housekeeping items. This is our agenda for, I keep saying this morning, but it's this afternoon. This is our welcome. There's a couple housekeeping things I just want to make sure you're aware of. If you have information to share about your organization, upcoming events, that sort of thing, and at least once a month we push out an e-newsletter that includes so many good things that are going on in our community. We're asking that you use this email address. Thank you, Gina, for putting that up there because I would not have remembered it. It is admin@ourmci.org to share updates. And then also, if you, Gina, if I have this correctly, the process to add someone to our list who wants to join is they can use this link or this QR code, if that's correct.
Yep, it'll bring people right to our sign up page. So if you visit that, you might want to bookmark it so that if you know anybody who wants to join, you can just send them that link and we'll be glad to get them in our list.
Awesome. And thank you so much for so many of you. We keep getting the requests to add to our email distribution and also these meetings. So love that. It keeps growing. And then just wanted to touch base from the Multicultural Coalition perspective. We have a few things just wanted to update you on, keeping you in the loop. We have a number of health and information fairs coming up. So you can see that we are going to be at Newmont Professionals on 6/14, which is this week already. And then we're going to have another or be at the Levin Resource Fair, which is on June 22nd. Then we are going to be at a mobile home park on June 28th. And then rolling right along, we're going to have health and information at Newmont Professionals again. Plus, we are kicking off a school supply drive to help out our partner organizations as well. And then we are at another mobile home park on July 19th. Some of these events will also include vaccinations, but the focus is also on that health information, enrollment information. There's a lot of things to share and also joined by many of our partners. And then we are going to have a health and information fair out at Klinkner Park in Chilton. And I would be remiss if I did also not mention that the Multicultural Coalition and our community-based partners are going to be in the Father's Day Parade this coming Sunday in Chilton. So we're super excited about that. We're going to have candy to hand out as well as a ton of health information and resources as well. So we are excited about that. So if you have any questions about any of these events coming up, please let us know. Then just circle back in workforce development. I will let you know. Thank you, Ernie and Casa Esmada. We had an opportunity to welcome about 20 guests from the Chicago area who are interested in working with a manufacturer up in this area. So we got to introduce them and talk about all of our wonderful culturally based organizations and our community highlights.
I'll get lunch ready.
Oh, you might want to hit mute. Just double check that your mute button is on. So that event was awesome. We had a lot of engaged participants who we spent a couple hours with on Saturday, just talking about people of progression, Pointers Community Initiatives, Newmont, Casa Hispana. It was an amazing opportunity to share with and about our community. So that was in our workforce development efforts. And then let's see, we have our back to school drive that we talked about. So again, these are the drop-off sites as well. Thank you to Newmont Professionals and Chilton Public Library. And we have the National Public Library for helping out with that back to school drive, which every year.
Oh, what? I'm sorry. I was just going to add real quick that the United Way Fox Cities location in Menasha will also be a drop-off location.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you to all of our partners there. So our goal is to drive up the number of school supplies for distribution among community members. So thank you, Gina, for all your hard work in that regard and everything else. With that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Sarah Schneider to introduce Kay from Taperz Barber Shop. And if you're not familiar, we incorporated a small business highlight at these meetings as well, just to share with everyone all the amazing small businesses that we have. So take it away, Sarah.
I honestly would like to just turn it over to Kane because.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm excited to hear from him and nobody can say it better than they can. So take it away.
Awesome. Oh, love it. Hey, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hello, everybody. My name is Kanan Davenport. A lot of people in the community know me as Kay the Barber. I've been in the area for about 18 years. I've been cutting hair ever since I've been in the area. Back in the day, I opened up my first barber shop. It was called Complexions Barber Shop. It was the very first Black-owned barber shop in Appleton. And I want to say in the area, but I'm not completely sure. I'm from a place called Harvey, Illinois, ex-military. So I am a veteran as well. I work with a very, very good team at Taperz Barber Shop. One great thing about Taperz is, no matter what your race, gender, no matter what you are, who you are, you can definitely get a cut at Taperz Barber Shop. All barbers are skilled in all different hair textures. We also have 2 stylists, braiders. They do braids and dreads and that type of thing. One of the big things that I pride myself on is team. I don't have employees. I have teammates. We work hard together. We love each other. We have a very strong, if you ever been in Taperz, it's a very strong vibe in Taperz of unity. Since I've been in the area, I've tried my best to do things to give back to the community from the very beginning. Taperz, we do a back to school block party as well every year. We've done it 5 years at Taperz. Before Taperz, I was at King's Barbershop where we actually started doing the back to school block parties. So we give away free book bags, free school supplies, haircuts, braids. We invite the community out to come out and have a good time with us. We normally have DJ games, plenty of stuff for the kids to enjoy themselves. Just something that we like to do every year to show the community that we care and to send our kids back to school in style. Like I said before, being in the community, a couple of years ago, we started People of Progression. It started through just having the community come through in the wake of the George Floyd murder. A lot of youngsters, a lot of our youth really didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to feel. That was a time in history that, that generation and really my generation as well hadn't seen. Like, I don't think it's been nothing like that since the civil rights movement. So we brought the community in to talk about things, and then it got to the point to where, so much talking is, it's just talking. So I believe that's where, we really just started to form People of Progression. I'm proud of People of Progression where we are now. We do tremendous work in the community. We're just getting started though, so we need everybody's support to continue the mission that we have going for People of Progression. But yes, that's me, I think, in a nutshell. I mean, if anybody have any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Thank you, Kay, for that overview. And then just the amazing things you guys have been doing for the community. And just personally, I remember back when we started with our community outreach efforts, and you early on said, yes, we can host you guys in the basement at the barber shop. And I remember that atmosphere. You could feel the difference at Taperz.
Yes, definitely. I'm a strong believer that we have to have team cohesion in order for I feel like the customers can literally feel that unity that we have amongst each other. And I believe that they can feel it if it's not too. So you just have to, make sure, everybody is on the same page.
And I remember, Kay, too, when you hosted that event with us at Taperz, and I remember a member of the media came and she was blown away. She felt it instantly when she walked in to your place too.
Absolutely.
Does anyone have any questions, Kate? It goes without saying, if somebody needs their hair done, what's the best way? Do they call, make an appointment online? How does that work?
So we book through an app called Booksy, Booksy. So you would download the app, look up Taperz Barber Shop. You'll see all of the barbers there, all of the stylists there. You'll see their ratings, you'll see pictures, you'll see their schedule, and you just book accordingly to your schedule.
Okay. That is helpful. Any questions for Kay? Thank you so much, Kay, for sharing with us about Taperz and People of Progression, their community work, and your love for this community. It shows.
Thank you all for your time. I appreciate you all.
Take care, Kay. You're welcome to stay on too.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And I think, Sarah, now you get to introduce our next guest speaker too.
I do, and I am very, very excited to do so. And I do want to compliment Kay for his responsiveness as I reached out to see if he could be our business spotlight today. And I just really appreciated that timely response. And I think that's a sentiment to the professional that you are in your business as well. As we segue to Amanda, I am honored to be able to introduce her to all of you today. As a matter of fact, I want to encourage everybody to go in the upper right-hand corner of your screen and go to a speaker side-by-side view versus gallery so you can see her beautiful face and give your full attention to her as she's presenting to us today. She is based in Northeast Wisconsin, and works to build meaningful relationships in the community with members, leaders, and organizations to better understand our priorities. And I can personally testify to that because Amanda and I have had some great conversations. As a first-generation Latina and proud daughter of immigrant parents, she navigated various systems for the first time in her family. She quickly recognized how systems in this country work against allowing communities of color and immigrant communities to thrive. These experiences have inspired her to enter the field of social work. She holds a bachelor's degree in social work from UW-Oshkosh. She's a Titan. Most recently, she obtained her master's in social work from UW-Madison with a focus on child, family, youth policy. And many other academic experiences revolved around advocating for and supporting youth and students of color. So without further ado, Amanda, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Sarah. I'm gonna share my screen now. Hopefully I can make this work. Okay, can you all see that? Okay.
It looks like it's
I
loading. Yeah.
You can't see it?
It just says it's loading on my screen. Is that correct? Technology Tuesday.
It shows up on mine, so I'm not sure.
Oh. I think Gina's going to switch to her screen in a second too.
Okay, no trouble, Amanda. That's why we have backups. Does everybody see the slide coming up now?
No.
No, okay, all right. Oh, that's because I didn't hit share screen yet. How about now?
Got it.
Excellent. Okay, sorry about that. And then Amanda, just feel free to let me know when you want me to advance. I'd be happy to do that.
All right, thank you so much. So I will be sharing about how Kids Forward shows up as a policy center in Wisconsin by bringing equity in all things. So next slide. So Sarah provided such a great introduction. So my name is Amanda Martinez. Pronouns are she, her, ella, and I am the Policy and Engagement Coordinator in Northeast Wisconsin. I do focus my work in the Fox Valley area, but I'm hoping to expand more throughout the Northeast region. I have also been mainly doing some community conversations with community leaders and organizations in the area, which I will share more about later, but mainly just trying to introduce Kids Forward to the area. So next slide. All right, so I will now share a little bit of history about Kids Forward. We are the oldest multi-issue child and family policy and advocacy organization in the country. We are a nonprofit and a nonpartisan statewide organization, and we do have an office based out of Madison, Wisconsin. Historically, Kids Forward has been a white-led organization. However, in 2020, Kids Forward transitioned to new leadership, and we have our first Black and Latinx executive director, as well as a new multiracial team. At the same time, in 2020, Kids Forward announced its transition to develop a theory of change, which begins with community engagement and listening to the priorities of communities of color. At Kids Forward, we acknowledge the expertise of those most impacted by inequitable policies in Wisconsin. We choose to consult lived experts first. We uplift their priorities and champion their recommendations for policy change. Next slide. The mission of Kids Forward is to inspire action and promote access to opportunity for every kid, every family, and every community in Wisconsin, notably children and families of color and those furthest from opportunity. And then, so you may be wondering, what do we do? So Kids Forward uses a research and community-informed approach to advocate for effective, long-lasting policy solutions that break down barriers to success for children and families. And we focus to improve outcomes for children in the areas of early care and education, health, economic security, immigration, tax and budget issues, and youth justice. And we do have staff members on team who are issue area experts. So if you are interested in diving deeper into one of these policy areas, I can also connect you back to one of our issue area experts on staff at Kids Forward. So next slide, please. All right, so to ground this presentation, I do want to define what policy and advocacy means. So advocacy means taking action on behalf of an issue through the use of multi-level strategies. So it can be as small as sending a letter to a local decision maker or your state representative, or as big as attending a local public demonstration. And then policy advocacy is a form of advocacy that targets laws, procedures, rules, funding decisions, as well as decision makers with governing bodies, such as city councils, school boards, state agencies, and legislatures. This type of work focuses on improving policies or influencing the development of policy at the local, state, or federal level. So now on the next slide, I want to provide you all with some policy examples just to give you some idea of how policies look like at the local, state, and federal level. So at the local level, a policy can be a school board making the decision to implement a DEI position. So as many of you may know, this is a decision actually made recently by the Oshkosh Area School District through the advocacy of local organizations such as Real Oshkosh, as well as local parents and many others in the community. At the state level, an example can be allowing undocumented immigrants to obtain a driver's license. In Wisconsin, however, undocumented immigrants are not able to currently obtain a driver's license. And Kids Forward has been actively supporting the advocacy efforts of Voces de la Frontera, who is one of the leading immigrant rights organization in Wisconsin. A bill may be introduced later this year in the legislature. So there may be hope, but there are 19 other states, including Minnesota, who have passed similar legislation. And then lastly, at the federal level, an example is the Medicaid program, which provides healthcare coverage to millions of Americans, including low-income adults, children, pregnant women, elderly adults, and people with disabilities. This program is funded by the states and the federal government, and you may know this program as Badger Care here in Wisconsin. All right, so racial equity is embedded in our policy advocacy work at Kids Forward. Racial equity is the process of eliminating racial disparities and improving outcomes for everyone. Racial disparities is known as the unjust outcomes that racial or ethnic groups may experience in comparison to their white counterparts due to racism that exists within systems in our society, such as the education system or the healthcare system. And that Kids Forward advocating for racial equity means acknowledging the impact that policies have on people and communities of color. We must engage, listen to, and learn from the communities most impacted by these inequitable policies in order to work towards improving outcomes. So on the next slide, now that we have more information on equity, Kids Forward does embed racial equity and community engagement in all areas of our work. And I'm going to share how we do our policy work. So our areas of work include communications, advocacy, policy research, and analysis. And I will go through each of our areas of our work and provide specific examples. So on the next slide, I start off with communications. And our communication strategy focuses on building genuine relationships and power sharing with Black, Indigenous, and other organizations across Wisconsin. Our staff members at Kids Forward may also testify at the Capitol. We may submit public comments or share sign-on letters. So a great example of our recent communications work was at our Kids Forward budget webinar event. We made sure to focus this event on uplifting the platforms of organizations of color across the state who have been doing advocacy work specifically on the Wisconsin state budget. And at this event, they uplifted issues such as education as well as immigration issues. And it was overall just really great to hear what their advocacy efforts were doing and to improve outcomes for Black and Brown communities in our state. So the next area of our work is advocacy, and we engage in advocacy through coalition building, lobbying, re-granting of our funds, and by providing resources to community organizations. An example of one of our resources is called Standing Up for Racial Justice, a starter guide on policy and advocacy in Wisconsin. And overall, this is a tool for community members to help people learn more about how they can get involved in policy and advocacy in Wisconsin with a focus on that racial justice lens. Kids Forward was able to provide physical copies to organizations across the state, including some here in the Fox Valley area. So our next area is policy research. We gather data that is disaggregated by race, and we present it in short publications, including in issue briefs, fact sheets, Q&As, and blogs. So recently, I actually created these Fox Valley policy fact sheets based from my community conversations this past year. And it provides overall information on how the local community is impacted by the larger state policy level. And some of the main themes that came up in my community conversations were early care and education, K-12 education and health, which is the areas I focus these fact sheets on. And as you can see on this slide, this one is focused on health. And it also includes data that is disaggregated by race for lack of health insurance in the Fox Valley, and Native American and Indigenous communities are the most impacted, as you can see in the graph. And overall, I'm hoping to continue to use these fact sheets as a tool to help more people learn about how policies impact local communities. And then our last area of our work is analysis. So we provide analysis on local or state issues. So we have provided analysis for the early care and education systems in Wisconsin. And then we will also be coming out with our Race to Equity Dane 10-year report this summer, which is my colleague is currently working on this report, and it will highlight racial disparities and community voices of Black Americans in the Dane County area. So this is just an example of the type of work we do. And then we also provide policy recommendations for decision makers in our reports. We usually try to stay away from long reports unless the community specifically asks for them. And all community members and organizations who are involved in our work are provided with stipends because we do acknowledge the time and expertise of everyone who is involved. And then I wanted to share more about my work specifically in the Fox Valley, which started in the summer of 2022. And as I mentioned earlier, mainly through community conversations with community leaders and organizations to better understand the priorities of the community. I was also able to engage in regranting some of our Kids Forward funds to 6 organizations of color or ally-led organizations in the Fox Valley area. And then, as I mentioned again earlier, the top main themes were early care and education, K-12 education, and health access. And these fact sheets are available on our website as well. And so you may be wondering now, how can Kids Forward be a resource for you? Well, we can help gather disaggregated data that supports your advocacy. We can provide an analysis of a local community issue and identify the racial equity impact. We can also create educational resources to help your audience learn more about a specific policy issue. We can partner with you to champion local change and also to help identify some policy recommendations to provide the local decision makers. And lastly, we can support your organization's advocacy efforts or systems level work. And if we do engage in partnership and if we need funds, we may apply for grants with the focus on trying to get funds to increase the capacity of our partners' work, because we do acknowledge that many organizations focus on direct services, So trying to get these funds to organization is really more to increase capacity, since this is more systems level advocacy work. And then lastly, I wanted to share some resources and upcoming opportunities. If you are interested, I can provide you with physical copies of our policy guide, as well as of our Fox Valley fact sheets. And then lastly, Kids Forward, in partnership with the Nina Collective, will be hosting focus groups in different areas of the state. The Fox Valley Focus Group will be held on June 28th at noon, and this QR code leads you to the registration. And overall, the focus or the goal of this focus group is to really learn more about racial equity in the community, and also to hear from you all what you would like to see more from Kids Forward. And I can also send the link to MCI after this. But thank you all so much for listening. I'm happy to take any questions. And here's some pictures of our staff.
Thank you, Amanda. Does anyone have any questions for her today? It was great that you pointed out. I think one of the first questions I had was like, how can we partner together? How can you be a resource? And that data, right? The studies that you have access to, or the research, is one good place to start.
Yeah, and I think from starting my work in the area, I really acknowledged like having, I guess, that challenge of community not knowing what exactly we do. So really wanted to make it clear the different ways that we can help.
Yeah, that's extremely, extremely helpful. Does anyone have any questions? Anything, any other comments? Amanda, I just wanted to point out, I think you said access. What was the chart that you had on that one slide? Access to health insurance?
Yeah, so it's health access in the Fox Valley, and the chart highlighted lack of health insurance by race.
Okay. Native American, Alaska Native, 21%. Was that from your end? Is anything about that surprising?
I think when I was gathering the research and the numbers, I did expect like the communities of color to be like higher on the end, just due to the different barriers that exist. And I think for Native American communities, it makes me wonder really those barriers and how, I guess, like the health systems are reaching those communities, since there is that lack of access to health insurance.
Yep. Thank you. It's always helpful to see the graphics. Any other comments or questions? I was also reading your poll quote that you had from someone regarding their childcare. Was that from somebody in Dane County? If I remember correctly?
Yeah, it was a report done a couple years ago. I'm not sure if the person, I think it was either Milwaukee or Dane.
And did I read that correctly, that the childcare provider was eating the food that the mother left for the child? Yeah.
Yeah, and we try to bring community voice, really, because often decision makers, I think, when making decisions, don't really think about really the impact the policies have directly to communities, or our representatives may or may not be actually going out to learn from the communities and the areas that they're working with.
Is there anything specific to childcare in the Fox Valley? Did you reference it all? I mean, I know, just I hear all the time the need.
Yeah, but I did create a fact sheet for East Early Childcare and Education, and I have been talking with like First Five Fox Valley and Nancy Jones from the Stronger Together group as well, to try to think of ways that we can support their work. Because childcare has been, I think, across the state, it's very inaccessible as well as not very affordable, or it's hard also for communities of color to find culturally competent care as well.
Yeah, there's, I think we could talk more. I can fill you in on some of the conversations we've been having too.
For sure. And I'm happy to take conversations after this as well. Anyone is welcome to email me.
And you had can you just put, there you go,
Yeah.
Amanda's email at the bottom, amartinez@kidsforward.org. Thank you so much, Amanda. That is super helpful information. And thank you for being such a local resource for all of us on this, at this meeting today.
Amanda, I have a question.
Yes.
In reading your bio, so I'm going to divert a little bit from your conversation, but I was specifically intrigued about navigating various systems for the first time for your family. I'm wondering if you could share a little bit more about your background and your personal experience that potentially established this passion in your life, and what had you pursue social work and obviously this work.
Yeah, so actually, when I was growing up, my little brother actually had leukemia. He had cancer and he's good now, but I think at that time, that experience, it was very challenging because I really saw my parents having to navigate all these healthcare systems, be in contact with social workers and also like the school system. And I think it was just very challenging because there wasn't as much bilingual workers. It was hard for them to really gain information. And I think at a young age, having to translate things, and really saw my family struggle through all that. And I think that's one of the reasons I really wanted to go into social work. And I really thought I was going to do more direct services, but I think once I started getting more into the field, I really recognized how the larger systems level and policies impact the services that families are being provided with. The different programs, because the state or the federal government are the ones who are funding these programs. And I just think often there is that distrust or lack of communications between local communities and the larger systems level. So I think that's really what drove my passion to going into the policy and macro social work area. That was a lot.
That's
Amanda,
sure.
Amanda, this is Pam Her. Can I ask you a question in regards to Kids Forward and just all of the things around mental health? Do you have a platform or initiative that you're working on around mental health in Wisconsin for children and access to mental health services? Can you talk to that?
Yes, I think mental health is definitely a new area we're exploring. I think especially more recently seeing data and how I think last year we released, it's called Kids Count, which is the data that shows the indicators for children in our state. And it's also for different states, but we released the Wisconsin one. And that one really showed that children of color were doing worse in comparison to their white counterparts when it comes to mental health. So we do some advocacy, especially with the Wisconsin state budget. And we support the educational investments that the governor is providing to mental health programs, especially in the schools, to supporting children. But it's definitely a new area, so we haven't done as much work, but I think in the future I can definitely reach out as we continue our work in the mental health issue area.
Thank you, Amanda. Any other questions? And Amanda, I think you said you were going to send us and we'll share with the group some more information or links to information as well.
Yeah,
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us and the work that you do. I am going to turn this conversation over to the group in terms of if you have things you want to share that are coming up. And I know some of those things have been shared in chat. You're welcome to share them in chat. Or if you want to share a few words with us, that would be awesome too. Jody, I'm looking at you because I know you have an event coming up this Saturday. There you go.
Celebrate Diversity and Volunteer Fox Cities have gone together to collaborate to have a cookout together to honor volunteers and people who've done work in the community to lift people up. And the event will be at Jefferson Park from 11 to 3. And there will be a nonprofit carnival and entertainment, world buffet. We will have dragons moving through, and the Fox Valley Symphony has provided the musicians and other entertainment. We will have folk dancing, Chinese folk dancing. So it will be a celebration of community. And so all people are invited to join in and participate. So
Thank you, Jody. If somebody wants to attend, do they need to RSVP or how does that look?
no, they need to come to the registration area and they will get information there. So it's at Jefferson Park in the big pavilion and small pavilion and along that area. And
Okay.
it's off 3rd Street in Menasha. So if you Google Jefferson Park, you'll get an address.
Thank you.
Yes, and the whole gist of it is to come together and have conversation with people that you might not have met before, and to laugh and commune together and have food and be entertained.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you for doing that as well. Anybody else have any updates to share with the group? Any other events taking place that you want help in getting the word out about? We encourage you to share it. You can share it vocally with us today. Put it in the chat.
Yeah, I have a quick update actually. We have scheduled one of our first coffee connections for the Northeast region. Actually here at All Tied Up right on College Avenue in Appleton. That'll be happening on July 12th from 8:30 to 10 in the morning. And you can find the information on our website at wislgbtchamber.com. It's a free event. We ask that you register so we have a general idea of how many people are attending. But that is going to be our first kind of kickoff to doing some regular events around the Northeast region.
Awesome. You said that was what, July 12th?
Yes, July 12th.
Okay. And then, Erica, if we don't have that, make sure you send us information. We'll share it with the group again too.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other updates?
Hi, a quick note from the city of Appleton, along with a lot of our partners. We're starting a survey that's coming out right now. It's with AARP, and we're doing an age-friendly survey. So anyone 18 and older who's a resident of Appleton can take the survey. We're really trying to figure out how to make Appleton a more friendly city for people of all ages. So I can send the link, and then if you could share it with your groups, that'd be great. The more voices we get, the more we really have an understanding of what people need that we maybe aren't able to see otherwise. Thanks.
Thank you, Brianna. Is that, just to reiterate, is that specifically for residents or businesses located in the city of Appleton, correct?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, no, that's okay. Just wanted to make sure. Hi, Noemi, how are you?
Hi, Lisa. I just
Long
have a
time no
quick-
see.
I've been coming to the meeting.
Good.
Lately, just being quiet, but I've been there. I just have to announce that Vida Clinic and Support Services is having their open house for their for our maternity home. Or I don't know if you're familiar with that, but we bought a property like a month ago, and for pregnant women that need shelter. So we have the open house for general public, and I wrote down the times and the dates in the chat.
Awesome.
We pretty much, the building is gonna be ready, but not, we need the staff. We'll be opening probably by the fall. So don't send anybody yet to the shelter, but the open house, so you can see the property and how it looks and what we're gonna be offering. It's July 25th in the afternoon, July 26th, August 1st and 2nd, and the times and hours are in the chat. So that's the big announcements from Vida Support Services.
Thank you for sharing all of that. Any other upcoming events you want to share with the group?
Lisa, Valley Transit has 2 updates. Sorry for who I just interrupted. One is that this Thursday is Dump the Pump Day, where those of us in public transportation are advocating that we take public transportation in lieu of driving our own cars or stopping at a gas station, or even better, use something like a bicycle or walk to work or do different things that would just be good for the environment, great for uniting our community, and just joining forces with the national movement. But then the other announcement is something geared towards all the organizations on this call who are serving those who rely on public transportation. Our software provider has discontinued our app, and effective July 1st, we will no longer have an app for our riders to see real live time bus access. And so at this time, we don't know when we'll have an app go back online, but we want to get the word out to our community so nobody's caught off guard or finds out too late.
Thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. And I think we could probably talk so we can help share that information with some of our clients that we serve as well.
Really appreciate it. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
And everyone.
Katie Olson.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to let you all know that tomorrow evening we are having our first public community living room. Well, we're hosting it, but it's actually being put on by Ebb and Flow Connection Cooperative. It's going to be at First Congregational Church in Appleton from 5 to 8, and just kind of a place for people to come and connect and talk about anything that's on their mind, kind of a mental health support, but not in a formal setting. And we are going to be doing this in June, July, and August, the second Wednesday each month. So hopefully we'll see y'all there.
Thank you, Katie. Anything else for the group to share? I want to make sure it's hard for me to see everybody at once because I have the profile view on this side. I did just think of one thing from the MCI perspective. I was thinking, oh my gosh, FYI to this group, and more details will be forthcoming, but it looks like we will be moving to downtown Menasha. So we will keep you updated on that. I don't know if some of you have visited us lately. We're still out of the Red Shoes office, and we are way in over our heads when it comes to just a lot of activities going on in this space. And so we've been looking for space for a while. So I think we have found it, and we'll continue to share details and everything with you as we move forward. So does anybody else have anything? Otherwise, we will also forward some of this information or all of this information in an email too in a wrap up. And then if you're not familiar We also, on our website, we do put the Zoom recordings on our website as well. So you have access to these presentations at any point. Thank you, Gina. These slides keep me on track. Our next meeting, because we are trying to take a little bit of time off in July, is Tuesday, August 8th. So at noon, we will see you, and it looks like we're going to do a hybrid meeting. I know the in-person meetings have been really receptive for many of you just to get together in person, which is always nice. Fox Valley Technical College is so gracious and has the ideal space to do those hybrid meetings. So we're super excited about that. And we have Ya Asari from Sheree's Ghana Style Brittle. If you have seen these packages around, the Ghana Style Brittle, I will say that I personally have eaten a bag in one sitting. Great story about an entrepreneur and how this came to be. Great man and great company behind the scenes in this entrepreneurial effort. So we're excited to learn more about Ya's story and the product, and I'm very excited for that. So yeah, Gina, I know. So just saw them at the farmer's market. It seems like every time I turn around, I see the products, the brittle. So that is awesome. So thank you again, everyone, for being a part of these monthly meetings. Been doing them about 3 years now, and we love your participation and spreading the word and everything that you are doing to help make the community a better place for all of us. I will hang out online here if anybody has additional comments or questions. This is kind of like the post meeting, you know, when people network and connect. So I will hang out here for a little bit. Thank you. Have an awesome Tuesday. Gina, I love the slides today. They're awesome.
I love Gina. She's awesome.
Yeah, I would agree.
Gina, you get all sassy at me when I say something that or don't receive a compliment. So suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, you've upped your slide game, your production, Gina. It's impressive.
Did you know Kayla is a 40 under 40? Since she's still on here, we should celebrate her.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Woo woo.
Way to go, Kayla.
Love you, Kayla.
Hey, thank you.
You are awesome.
You're all awesome. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. See ya.
Jody, you're on mute if you're trying to say something. Are you taking off?
I am. Bye.
That's too bad. I had Kayla as a student. It's
Oh.
nice to see her out in the community doing, she was part of our diversity